tell us, without violating anything classified, what operating system most of those computers are using.
Well, I would just say, as I gave a talk at Georgetown recently, Windows XP is the venereal disease of the Department of Defense. The part of the problem is, and by the way, Microsoft does build products that are much better than the Windows 10 is decent, but part of the problem is security, software does not age well. And so security is temporal. Something that is secure at one point in time, we find bugs later, and it turns out not to be secure. So you cannot think of it from the perspective of, I have a Windows XP machine that's involved in a Navy ship, right? And that comes as part of the ship, and you just run it, right? Well, it turns out these things are all networked. It's known to have a problem. It's no longer supported by Microsoft. Why does the DoD continue to leave these systems in place? Well, because the code that actually runs the ship that ran on that platform, right? Somebody has to go port that to something else. And we don't think about it that way because it's a piece of hardware, it's a piece of the ship.
Right.
So the Department of Defense, and I would argue most companies, do not think about these compute platforms as software. They don't manage them how we in the software industry would manage them. And so consequently, that sense of how often am I going to do a refresh? How often am I going to patch these systems? Do I control the source code, right? That system runs on, so that I, as a user, can recompile it and move it to a more secure platform. So these are all things that people have not done. I would also say there's a feedstock problem, which is the people who know how to do this, classic software engineers, and there are people who are trained, the schools and our university system does not produce enough of these. And so it's hard to go find people who have this kind of competence. And so when you don't have, doing the right thing is complicated technically, has a lot of sharp edges. You need people with skills who are good at this, and there are not that many of them in the market. And people like my company hire a lot of them.